as no official figures are actually released, it's very difficult to find out who is the best-selling, one of the most popular, we could say, publishers on DrivethruRPG. Well, today I'm going to kind of take you through an article that I've been sent by a publisher that's a friend of mine, because he appeared on there and he was really pleased. So what I want to do is just sort of take you through this. I think number one was probably obvious. There were several down the list that I thought would be significantly higher than they were, and there were some that are lower. So yeah, it's quite an interesting, well, has been for me, top 10. So I thought I'd put the camera on, have a conversation with this. You know, it's always good to see how other companies are actually doing on DrivethruRPG based on the number of sales. So let me just take you over to the article here that is by Geek Native. What they've done is they've assigned the number of books sold a different score, okay? Because on DrivethruRPG, you'll see books, it will say Adamantine, Mithril, Platinum. This represents the number of units, be physical or PDFs, that have actually been sold exclusively on that website, okay? Just on DrivethruRPG. So what Geek Nation have then done is they've gone and looked at all of the companies on there. They've put together this massive spreadsheet, worked it out, and came with a top 10 based on the type of books that are sold. So I'll show you how the scoring works, then I'll get you into the top 10. So here is the scoring through use of wonderful editing. So if a book is copper, it is 1 point, silver 2 points. So this basically goes from, I think it's 50 units sold all the way up to thousands, if that makes sense. So it's going to 1 point for copper, 2 for silver, 5 for electrum, 10 for gold, 20 for platinum, 50 for mithril, and 100 for adamantine. Now we know the scoring, let me just take you through the top 10. Then at the end of the video, I'll show you the actual points where everyone actually came. So number 10 is a company called Skirmisher Publishing. Now they seem to do a lot of print available leaflets, very sort of historical. It seems to be very sort of mini focused, but hints and guides. So we've got here like a city builder in here, some travel size rules for moving around on TTRPGs, little areas and things like that. So this is, they've obviously got quite a lot of products on here. As you can see when I scroll back up, lots and lots of different categories. Oh, Ragnarok, Age of Wolves. This is why I like doing things like this, because, you know, coming to it completely fresh, having the list, just so I can have a look and see what it is. So what we got, okay, most popular here is Children of the Wolf, cardstock characters. Okay. So it's a lot of print, looks like print on demand, maps as well as stuff like that. I guess that makes sense if it's Skirmisher Publishing. Number 9 then is, this makes me sad actually, Oddity Press. So mainly Grimwild, I'd imagine, is what it's going to be sort of pulling for. Nevermore was an adventure, Gallenvale, another adventure, Grimwild. So this was quite a big Kickstarter. I actually did a review of this because JD Maxwell sent me a review copy, and sadly he seems to have dropped completely off the map, and no one really knows what's happened to him or where he is. To the extent where the Kickstarter project has just been killed. You know, it's basically saying it's not, you know, even Kickstarter themselves can't get hold of him. I believe there was also a backer kit for this as well, which was the sort of like a Wild West inspired, using the same sort of Grimwild. It's like a 5th edition-esque type rule system. Really good rule system, but yeah, it looks like the physical copy is never going to arrive. So that's number 9. Number 8 is the person that sent me the list, which is Carl Otto Christofferson, who's become a good friend of mine. He, very early on into me being on YouTube, I did a review of this West Marches here. Then obviously, then it just exploded, and Carl has sold an awful lot of these. It's basically it's now 4 books because he's expanded out into a Games Masters, Players, and a Party Ledger here that allows people to play West Marches, and they're written, which is like a hex crawl way of playing any role-playing game. It's rules agnostic, so you can just drop it into any game. It's predominantly fantasy, but there's no reason why you couldn't convert it. But say that this has exploded, and this is pretty much the only product that he's got on here. He's recently released Roll for Innovation, which he has sent me. I haven't really had a chance to have a look at it yet, as well as Grunder, that one of my subscribers basically made some joke about me going on Grindr, which I do you know what? I absolutely love hilarious comments, sarcastic comments and banter. So if ever you want to write anything silly, sort of like that on my comments, I don't mind. I actually really enjoy it. But yeah, it's really good, at number 8 to see an independent, smaller person on this top 10 list. Absolutely great. Well, obviously, and Oddity on number 9 as well. So number 7, Cubicle 7. Now that's weird, isn't it? You'd expect Cubicle 7. Well, if Cubicle 7 are at 7, which makes sense in my head, it should be at 7. Then it's going to make you think where, what's actually coming up in the next 6. But obviously, this is based on number of units on individual books. They obviously sell a lot on their own websites, but probably because people are going to be picking this up from actual stores as well. Maybe that's one of the reasons why it's going to come down the list. But when you look at the range in here, some of my favourite games in here: Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, Imperium Maledictum, Wrath and Glory. Great games in it. Even the old, second edition Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, first edition. I didn't realise I could pick up first edition on here. I've got all the second edition already, and obviously we've got the Old World coming out soon. So number 7, Cubicle 7. Let's have a look at number 6, Onyx Path, which is a great resource for me to be able to pick up older Vampire the Masquerade and Werewolf books. I've managed to finally complete my collection of Vampire Dark Ages and managed to get all the PDFs as well, because I've picked up a big set of physical copies, which is good. But this also covers, Promethean, and something that I've recently bought is this, The World Below, which it's down here. It's on my review list, which is, as you can imagine, it's a new world that's below, and it looks like a real dark, sort of underdark type world. So I've got to get into it at some stage. I bought it probably 2 months ago, but I've got to get back to this. So yeah, I keep doing this. I keep buying new things and then never actually going back to things that I want to get reviewed myself. So this will be coming at some stage. So that is number 6. Number 5 is Need Games, which is one of my absolute favourite finds of last year, which was Fabula Ultima, which is a Japanese-inspired TTRPG. It's from level, I think it's from 1 to 50. Players start at level 4. Incredibly interesting and diverse character classes the players can play, and they're going to play a combination from outsource as well. From outset they're going to get 2, maybe 3 different classes, and it's going to just brings in wild and amazing combinations when I've played through this on solo. And then you've got a few additional books, so you've got a high fantasy setting, a techno setting, and a natural fantasy setting, as well as a toolkit. These reviews will be coming at some stage, so I'm so far behind, and people keep either sending me new ones, buying new ones, or new books keep getting released all the time. But included in here, we have got Journey to Ragnarok, which is a 5th edition inspired Norse setting. I haven't picked it up because it is 5th edition. What's this then? So let's just have a look at this and see what Terra Target Gemini is. Post-apocalyptic world? Guessing. Designer, written, illustrator Luca Negri. Game you play runners, professional adventurers hired for dangerous tasks, deliveries, arrests, rescue missions, assassination in a savage land. Yeah, post-apocalyptic world. Right, add that to wish list. This is the other reason I like doing stuff like this, because I could get to discover and find new things that I might need to pick up at some stage. So that's number 5. Number 4, Schwab Games, I think it is. Sadly, I did have an interview with Robert this week. I was meant to sit down with him, and then my mum unfortunately had a fall, so I had to rush off, take her to hospital. So that is coming back. I think he's booked in, it might be the 2nd of April, but as you can see, we've got Shadow of the Demon Lord to go through, Shadow of the Weird Wizard as well, and there's so much stuff in here. And then I've just noticed When the Wolf Comes, Viking verse role-playing game. I don't know anything about this. Why has no one ever told me about this? So I'm going to have to try and dig through, click through there and find this. But this is great to see Shadow of the Demon Lord, actually, because people keep telling me that I need to play this over Warhammer Fantasy Role-Playing, specifically 4th edition. So I've started reading the rule book. I like the rules because you've got 3 different sort of tiers of class in that. As you go up, you add more classes, which is a really interesting way of doing stuff. But the world is pretty sinister. And then we've got the Shadow of the Weird Wizard, which seems like a kind of nicer fantasy setting so far that I've got into. But yeah, so those interviews and reviews will be coming out April now, unfortunately. So yeah, number 4 is a Schwab Entertainment. I've probably pronounced that incorrectly. What's number 3 then? Art Alzorian Games. Great company, great product in, obviously, The Witcher TTRPG, which is one of my favourite games, as well as Cyberpunk Red and Cyberpunk 2020, which both games are in and around my top 20 games of all time. I think Cyberpunk Red is still in and around my top 10 from when I did it at the end of the year. I think Witcher's kind of slightly dropped out, but both great games. One, obviously, we always come back to Cyberpunk Red being the core rulebook just needs a big reprint. The way it's laid out is just harsh. But yeah, for them to be beating again Cubicle 7, that's quite a surprise. You know, when you look at some of the companies on this list, I would have thought Cubicle 7 would have been a little bit higher up the list. But yeah, no, Art Alzorian Games, fantastic. And I think Shadow Scar that's their latest Kickstarter or crowdfunding. I haven't actually looked at it yet, but it looks very sort of, actually that probably ticks the box, because on a video the other day I was asking people if they know any sort of Japanese inspired settings for me to get, because I've been looking at Legends of the Five Rings and whether I go back to 1st or 2nd edition or track down 4th edition. That's incredibly expensive because I'm not a massive fan of 5th. So yeah, and there's also Bushido that I keep getting told to look at, so I'm just kind of trying to find something that's going to tick that box. I know Bushido, I think Bushido might be a straight historic change, so I kind of wanted it. Yeah, that's good. I need to put Shadow Scar on my list. So let's just have a look at number 2, and that is Fat Dragon Games. Okay, right, 3D printing stuff and model stuff. I didn't even realise you could get 3D printing and model things on DrivethruRPG, because I've recently got a 3D printer. I need to do something with that. I need to sort of set it up, calibrate it, and learn. But it's all new skills for someone of my age. This is really exciting. I didn't know this existed at all. That is brilliant. Absolutely pleased with that. Very pleased with that. Sorry, I just got completely sidetracked. If you want 3D printing, you can get on DrivethruRPG. That's really cool. So number 1, I wasn't surprised when I looked, skimmed through the list at number 1 to see what that is. And that is Darrington Press, because Daggerheart has been, I think, almost number 1 on DrivethruRPG since its release. It kind of wasn't there for the first sort of about 4 or 5 days, and then it's been there, and it's pretty much stayed at number 1 for most of the second half of last year. So obviously we've then also got Candelara Obscura, if that's how it's pronounced, and Taldorian Reborn, which is obviously the setting for Critical Role, isn't it? I think that's and it's 5th edition rules book, I think. But yeah, I'm sure Daggerheart is normally. Let's have a look where we are now. Actually, look, here we go. We've got, here you go, Art Alzorian Games right at the start there. But yeah, Daggerheart, that's about 11, so it's dropped a little bit. But yeah, so what I'll do is I'll just show you the actual top 10 and the sort of the spread of the points. So here we've got Skirmish Publishing here, so 64 points. So Carl Offerson and Oddity Press, actually joint 8th. So I've done JD Maxwell a disservice there slightly by getting his points. I said he was slightly below, so that's great. Joint 8th, so it's great. When you see what Carl has managed to pull off compared to all the other companies above him. So Cubicle 7, only 4 points above it. 2 more points then on to Onyx Path. Need Games, Ultima Fabula, which is 102, so breaking that 3-digit points. Then Schwab goes 3 more points there. We get a bit of a jump here then to Art Alzorian, the 3D printing company, which is going to get saved, and I'm going to be looking at lots of files as soon as I stopped recording, 135 points. Then Darrington Press topping out at 151. But yeah, let me know down in the comments below if you found this interesting. I love getting these articles and things. So if you've got anything you want me to cover, you know, either link to it through my Facebook group, my Discord, any of those, come and find me, send me stuff. I love just reading articles, and I especially love top 10s. Who doesn't like a top 10, top 20 to sort of read through and discover? And then find, you know, like I've just done now, found all these 3D printers. And obviously, if you're watching this and you weren't aware you could get 3D printed stuff on DrivethruRPG, we're both happy, aren't we? So, yeah, that's it. If you've enjoyed this video, like, share. Or one thing for everyone that sent me words of support about my mom, thank you very much. The community never fails to amaze me just how bloody nice everybody is that helps and supports my channel and watches my videos. So, yeah. I'm going to go now, and well, I've got to go back to the hospital. Hopefully she's coming home today, so fingers crossed. Thanks everyone, and I'll see you soon. Cheers for watching.